My name's Sean Hunter. I run Cuestars, which is competition of the south of England, which is fantastic. We've got players that have come through the Cuestars system, got on the professional tour, Billy Castle, Jamie Wilson, Connor Benzie, and we've got fantastic coaches in the area. And what I've also created is the Cuestars Academy. Initially there were levels which were used by the coaches to help our players develop, and Connor came through that system, so did Jamie. And what I wanted to do is share another, one of these red egg timer routines, because I'm finding the players, particularly the junior players, well, all players really, that I spend some time with, I really enjoy this. Now, this is targeted at new players, so players that are new to snooker. And when you start playing snooker, if you want to make quick progress, then you need to get comfortable with potting blacks off their spots as fast as you can. And the quicker you'll be able to do that is the time you spend on the table practicing and the way that you practice it. Now, I watched Ronnie O'Sullivan on Eurosport a few years back. He made an observation of his fellow professionals is they would like plonk a blue on the spot, put the white on the book line and keep trying to pot this blue over and over again. And in which case they're having to go around and get the blue out, so they're never really getting any rhythm. And I think one thing that Ronnie is the best player at is he's so instinctive, such a natural player, such an instinctive player. And what he explained is his thinking was to maximize his practice time. So if he was practicing a shot, then he would have the reds, or maybe all the balls, but let's say the reds near him. So you can just play this shot over and over and over again. Now, this particular red egg timer routine is sort of modelled on that thinking. Now, what I'm going to set up here, and it doesn't have to be super precise because the game just isn't that way. You've got to, as I say, become instinctive. You've got to make these shots, certainly as many shots as you can, as quick as you can, be potted or be played by your subconscious mind. Now that's the bit which has learnt something, and then when you can relax, then that just flows, and that's where the rhythm comes from. That's why Ronnie O'Sullivan is so incredibly good. Right, so I'm going to use the colours here. So I've got, to begin with, an off straight red, and there's just a tiny little bit of angle on that, so hence it being a straight shot. And then I'm just going to pop the green just above. So now I've got a high red off the black spot, because these are, we're training us here now to pop balls off the black spot. Of course, normally it will be the black that you try and spot. And then we're down here now with the brown, probably just put it a centimetre below the yellow, just below the yellow. The idea that's, you'll find that's now the 3/4 angle. And then we do the same again now with the blue. So we end up with a 3/4 ball red off the black spot. And now we go to the pink, and then we finish with the black. Now, the pink and the black are going to be sort of around about half ball shots. Now, when I go through this, I'm going to also just give you some aiming points. Now, there's lots of stuff online about this, but I've tried to pick the simplest method or simplest way to see this shot. So hopefully the camera angle is not too bad. So I make it no more complicated than I'm looking from the middle of the cue ball to just right of centre. You know, I'm not trying to be super precise. I'm just looking sort of between those points. Now the secret here now is just to get down, and notice I've got my head in a good position. Always get nice and square, and then just swivel those hips as you get down. And it might be a good idea for these shots when you first do them, just to roll them in gently and just see where the cue ball goes. So you can just see the path of the cue ball. Now there's lots of different ways you could do this routine. If you're going through, if you're a coach and you're going through with a player, then you might want to run through it and then record a score, and I'll explain to you how you can do that in a moment. But equally, if you're practicing on your own, it might be an idea to just do 15 straight shots of each one and just work through it that way. And that sort of fits in better with the Ronnie O'Sullivan way. So here I would just play this shot over and over. And the idea here is this shot will start to become in the subconscious. I hope that, so it always sounds mad when you say that, but it's just in the learnt part of your brain. So you eventually you'll just start potting this ball without any thought. So you can be thinking about what you're having for tea later. Okay, and that's the Ronnie way to practice that. So you perhaps do 15 of each potting angle. Now the red egg timer way, so I'll just grab those reds back. So if you had a junior player with you, you're a coach and you've got a junior player with you, then a good way is to try and create a bit of drama, a bit of pressure, because I love doing that. So again, I'll set up, you can see. So you just get the junior player to pop the yellow out of the way and then ask them to get down and pot the red. And I would say if they're doing this okay and these balls are going in, yeah, don't confuse them. Don't, you know, stop. So, well, you got aim here, you got aim there. If they're making the shots, then just leave them do it, because there's plenty of other of these red egg time routines you can then move them onto. So now this time I'm just above the red on the black spot. So my aiming point this time is just left to centre. Again, you notice I'm rolling these balls in so that I can work out start to learn where the cue ball goes. So now I've got my 3/4 ball red. So the aiming point here is middle of the cue ball, and you're aiming just inside the right edge of the red. No more complex than that. Okay, and now we're doing the same, but this time we're above the red. But the aiming point now is just inside the left edge. And I, as you know, for those of you that have watched these videos of mine before, I'm a big fan of Michael Holt, and totally agree. All these shots are straight shots, and the point he's making is that you push the cue through straight for all these shots. So hence they're straight shots. And it's a good way to think, because if you can cue straight, you'll learn the angles. If you're having a cue across a ball to pot a ball, or flick some side on it to pot it, that's not going to be consistent. It's not natural either, really. So now I've got the half ball, so I'm looking from middle to the right edge of the red, and that's now my aiming point. And again, like a straight shot, play across it. Not play across it, what am I talking about? Play, cue it straight. Yeah, what I should be saying is don't cue across it. And then to finish with, just put that out of the way, we've got the half ball again, so middle to edge of the red, and then swivel the hips, get down. All right, made a little correction there, and you're okay to make little corrections. The key word there is little. Of course, if the corrections are too big, then you're going to run into all trouble. So just tiny little corrections are okay. Now you see I've got 9 reds left. So if you were a coach and you had a junior player here, then the way that you do this is you add the reds that are left. In this case, there's 9 reds, which is the maximum that they could be left, because there's 6 shots, 6 pots to be made. And you add that to the value of the colours. So hence you get a score of 36. If the reds had run out, then the score would be how many pots they've made. So say they've made potted to the blue and got the blue, then the score would be 14. I hope that makes sense. So I think that's a really good little training drill to start somebody on. And as I said before, if you have enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Makes a massive difference. It means it gets pushed out so more people can see it and hopefully enjoy it. And the real big one is, if you haven't done so already, just click that subscribe button. It's completely free. But again, what it does is it means that this can be pushed out to more players, and that's great for the channel as well, because we'll, you know, get more comments, more feedback, good or bad. Anyway, massive thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in another one of these videos very soon. Take care. Bye.